Shalom, y'all. Hi. Me again. I have been thinking about the word intentional. People say that we need to be intentional for God. But really, it's like, stop thinking about what you want and start thinking about what God wants. I know that's kind of like a duh thing, but I read recently that people are only consciously aware for 5% of the day. 5. That means 95% of the time you are just la-di-da going through the motions. It's kind of like that flesh muscle memory thing that I talked about in another video. You're just going through the motions. And so if only 5% of the day you are intentional, then I guess that's like what you're in control of. But no, really, we need to change our muscle memory so that we are going through the correct motions. But this book that I'm reading says God wants to know us, and he wants us to know him. He wants us to want him. Not an idea or abstract thoughts about him, but him. Ultimately, this is more of a restful life, not just because it might mean some quiet, meditative moments, though they're wonderful, but because when we surrender control, there's much less at stake in life for us. It's kind of like we have to train our brain, that subconscious that's in control, I guess, 95% of the day, to do the right thing, to be the right way, to pay attention, to think about God more. For those of you that have teenagers, we can take this intention thing to a whole nother level. You know, you ask a teenager, hey, will you take out the trash? And they're like, yeah. I guess if that 5% of their brain is actually paying attention, then they will like fully engage and actually do it. But a lot of the times you have to ask more than once because they didn't hear you, or I forgot, or, oh, I intended to do it. This is how it is with God. So many times I find myself like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then like my intentions were good, but I didn't even like follow through with what I said I was going to do. So it takes me to another thought that I've been thinking lately. Do what you say you believe. If you go to church like once a week, you only have like a 5th grade education in God, if you will. So what I'm really trying to encourage here is, yes, be intentional, but stop thinking about what you want and start thinking about more what God wants for you, because that's going to be an easier life. What did that guy say? I got to get to that page. There's so much less at stake in life for us if we surrender control. I know, like, without context of the book, you can't understand too much of what he's saying there, but it's just like, it's his yoke is easy and his burden is light. And so if you can get your flesh and muscle memory to lean more towards what God wants for you, then your intentional items, your intentional thoughts, your intentional acts can lean more towards what God wants for you. I hope this came out clear. Again, I'm just trying to encourage you to think about what God wants for you and not just go through your motions of your day, because I think that's the key in being intentional.